Joining us now from the other side of the aisle, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine. Senator, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Glad to be with you, Shannon. Thanks.
So let's start with the shutdown issue, because there's a huge partisan divide over this. I want to play something that Speaker Johnson said about what Democrats are demanding in order to make a deal. Here's what he said.
They wanted to reinstate giving free health care to illegal aliens. They wanted us to add $500 million to prop up liberal news organizations. They wanted to add $1.4 trillion in new spending on a stopgap funding measure, and we're just not going to do that. We can't do that. The Democrat shutdown will be a disaster for the country.
All right, should those things be part of this deal to keep the government open? And if Senate's not back until September 29th and money runs out the 30th, how do we get this done?
Shannon, we'll get it done. The last shutdown was when Donald Trump was president in late 2018, early 2019, and we haven't had a shutdown since. We've gotten near deadlines, but I got a bill passed that all federal employees get back pay during any shutdown, and that is a guardrail that makes people basically decide, all right, it's not going to be smart to shut government down and pay people for not coming to work. Here's what needs to happen. The Republicans put together a proposal under instructions by Donald Trump: don't talk to Democrats. Don't negotiate with Democrats. Democrats in the Senate put together a better proposal, which keeps government funded, but also fixes the Republican misstep in taking away premium support for people who purchase insurance on the Affordable Care Act. Even many Republicans have said, we got to fix that. The other thing we do in the Democratic proposal is put some guarantees in it that if there's a deal, President Trump has to honor the deal and can't just suddenly start clawing back money. We had 2 votes on those 2 proposals Friday. The Democratic proposal got more votes than the Republican proposal did. But now the negotiation begins. They wouldn't negotiate with Dems to begin with, but the leadership has reached out to President Trump and said, let's sit down this week and figure this out. President Trump last night said he was open to doing that. That's what we need to do. You never get a budget deal without a negotiation. And I think the news from yesterday suggests that's going to happen here in the next couple of days.
I got to tell you, though, my years of covering Washington, the last 20 plus or so, I've never felt the feeling that I'm getting from both sides where they both feel like they're going to be able to tag the other side with the shutdown if it happens, and both seem to feel like they're going to be able to score some political points. So it seems like the game of chicken might be a little bit more extended than we've seen in the past. I mean, when you come back with one day to get a deal done, what does it say to you that both sides seem willing to take on a shutdown?
Well, you know, shutdowns are bad. And again, we haven't had one since the last one that Donald Trump forced in 2018. We haven't had one. But to make sure you fund government, you do have to have negotiations. So the point of President Trump, you don't have to negotiate with them, just do your own bill. Maybe that's fine for the opening position, but eventually you have to sit down and work it out. And I was heartened when the Democratic leadership reached out and said, okay, Mr. President, time for a meeting. And again, President Trump last night said, I'm not sure what a meeting will accomplish, but I am glad to sit down. And that's what the American public expects. And you're right, Shannon, sometimes people talk about who they can blame for what goes wrong, but we ought to be focused on finding a deal, keeping government open. And the main ask that the Democrats have on the health care piece, the ACA premiums, is something that Republican colleagues, John Cornyn, Josh Hawley, Speaker Johnson, have all said, yeah, we probably need to fix this. So we think we're not asking Republicans for something that they don't like. We're asking for them for something that they've acknowledged needs to be fixed. So let's do that, and we'll help people in all of our states.
Well, nothing like coming to the edge of a cliff, which seems to be how it works now here in Washington. Let's talk about this free speech issue as well. That's getting a lot of attention. The Federalist says this about Jimmy Kimmel: we think it's just an indefinite suspension. It sounds like there are conversations about bringing him back to air. We'll see. But the Federalist says it hardly needs to be said that nothing about the Kimmel story implicates free speech in any way. Kimmel didn't just mock MAGA or criticize Kirk. He patently lied about the ideology of Kirk's alleged assassin. And by allowing his comments to air, ABC arguably violated the terms of its FCC license. Now, there's no doubt that when he made the remarks, anybody who had been following this case, watching the press accounts, the press, by the various law enforcement officials, and Kimmel says he's got a crack research team that keeps him out of trouble. People knew that it was not a MAGA ideology that came from this alleged shooter. So why should he get to misrepresent that and then not expect some kind of consequence from his own employer?
Well, Shannon, I'm going to go back to the first sentence of what you read me from the Federalist. I haven't seen that. When it says it doesn't implicate free speech issues, they're just wrong about that. When you have the head of the FCC bragging, we're going to go after you, and we can do it the easy way or the hard way, and he's giving a message to Kimmel's employer, who has a merger application pending before the FCC, even Republicans like Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson and Karl Rove have said that goes way too far. You shouldn't be using the power of the FCC to undermine somebody because the president thinks he's too much of a critic. I've heard some of the talk show commentators in recent days say, look, I've been on TV under multiple presidents, and I give all of them grief and I give all of them trouble, but none of them are ever so thin-skinned that they come after me. And looking at the president's tweets and celebratory words following Kimmel being pulled off the air, I hope you're right and that discussions are going forward about coming back. Look, you had a colleague, Brian Kilmeade, 10 days ago who suggested that homelessly mentally ill people should be lethally injected. He apologized the next day. He said, okay, those were callous comments. He didn't get pulled off the air. And I think that's probably, I just hope that there's a path here where we don't use the power of the FCC to muscle people who the president, doesn't like what they're saying.
Well, something else from the Federalist, they make this point saying some of those rending their garments this week over Kimmel's cancellation were the same people who cheered on government censorship during COVID. They love censorship so long as it's their side doing the censoring. I mean, this was a case that was fought all the way to the Supreme Court, and there was language there about the government putting its thumb on various social media outlets and others about what they didn't want people to be able to say in dissent with regard to COVID policy.
Well, Shannon, there's a difference. You know this. There's a difference between political speech, where we tend to allow a really wide and robust area of political speech, and dangerous misinformation. Give you an example. Congress passed a couple years back a bill, FOSTA and SESTA, that requires social media companies to take down information that could be used to foment human trafficking. Now, it is a speech regulation, but it's an appropriate one, and Congress passed that overwhelmingly positively. Similarly, information that's misinformation about COVID that could lead people to be seriously ill or even die, that's a little bit different than somebody expressing a political opinion about whether or not they like Tim Kaine as a senator or whether or not they like Donald Trump as a president. We are a society that needs to tolerate a pretty wide variety of opinions when it comes to politics, and that's made us stronger, not weaker. Some countries crack down on all kinds of political speech. I lived in Honduras when it was a military dictatorship, and you had to keep your mouth shut about politics. Thank God we haven't been that way as Americans, and I hope we never will be.
Well, fair to say that what Kimmel said about the suspect at the time we all knew was misinformation. We'll watch to see what happens with his job moving forward. Senator Kaine, thank you very much. Always appreciate your time.
Glad to be with you, Shannon. We always have a good civil dialogue, and that's what this country needs right now.
They do. Come back.
Civil dialogue among people who disagree, but we can listen to each other and respect each other.
Yeah, come back soon.